That's the mindset. And I want to start off just by recognizing Chris Rodriguez, and didn't know he was going to go until really 90 minutes prior and to the game. And when you get into that spot and you demonstrate you're ready, it goes a long way to your teammates. And there's a lot of unseen work to be ready. You don't get all the reps. Sometimes that comes in the after practice time, the before practice time to be ready. And I thought just a strong finish at the end of the game by him. But I thought the team showed a lot of poise. The 2-minute at the end of the half I thought was a really big deal, where we have to throw it into the end zone based on time on the shot to Terry. And then the last quarter, I thought, just the catch by OZ going to make a play. Those two plays stuck out to me in particular. We thought we'd have to do a good job with the ball, so to finish in the positive for us, that was a big deal. And I thought for the offensive line, this is an excellent pass rushing team for our offensive line. So to finish, I believe, with no sacks, that's a big deal. They've got some fantastic rushers, and I think I don't know what, you have to go back and check. Maybe there's 5 in the opening game, not the opening game, our first game against them. So we knew that was going to be a point of emphasis going into this game. So all that said, glad to get it rocking with you. Dave, you want to start? Or?
They seemed to be successful in the first half on first down especially. What did you guys do to kind of tighten that up after the half?
Yeah, I'm talking about their offense. Yeah, and I thought Jones circled us, on a couple of runs that were some big ones. And I've seen that movie before, where he can use his legs and get outside, and he certainly did. Sometimes you see that on a pass where he's got enough speed to lose ground to get outside and circle. These happen to be in the run game to go. But, I thought that was, what the legs and him getting outside, I thought was a big part of the explosive plays in that first half.
After last week's red zone troubles and the first time played the Giants, settling for a lot of field goals, were you pleased with kind of the way you guys converted in the first half in particular there?
Yeah, I thought, getting a chance to go down, we thought in the run game we'd really have to have an impact. And the time of possession really seemed out of whack. I don't know what the numbers were. I haven't looked at it. But they had some long drives. And so getting down into the red zone, when these would be 4-down moments to go to see if we converted. So to have the scores there was big. Sometimes when it's, an 8-point game or in a field goal spot, to say you take the field goal in that spot to go ahead. So we were thinking a lot on the game management side. And even at the end, where, it was close to get, once we got the first down, that was a way to kneel it out. But I thought to close the game in that way, that was a big deal.
Dan, you talked about consistency, the importance of that week in and week out. What did you kind of think of the group today, especially as the game progressed?
Yeah, I thought we showed a lot of poise in those winning time moments. I think back to OZ at the end of the game. I thought to Jayden and Terry and using the shot clock to work some time to come down. So those are things that we spent a lot of time on. Going into the game, would we have enough left emotionally? And you guys had heard me talk about that after a big win last week. I thought the guys did a good job of, filling the tanks back up. We acknowledged it, that like this was a historic win for us. And last week, I'm talking about at home in the fashion it went. And how do you recognize it, but then also fill the tanks back up, knowing you're heading back into a division game? And I thought it showed a lot of maturity from the team and poise to say, okay, that was cool. Now we got to get right back into the next process, and they did a good job of that.
Dan, you've been around Dante Taylor for so much of his career. Like, what have you thought of the stretch he's been having? Because he had another really good game today.
I thought you could see the energy and the speed. He's somebody that can beat you to the punch, as a get off, and that sometimes can be the thing as a pass rusher. If you can get an offensive tackle off balance just by the way, you can get on the first step, and you hear the word first step quickness and beating people to the punch, and that's a big part of Dante's game. But real competitor. He's made some big plays in this stretch, of football for us, and he's finding his right spots. You may have heard me say when to take your shot. It might be a 4th and 1. That's a time on a run, or you don't just do it randomly where you can expose, a big play. But knowing when to take your shot as a ball player is a big deal.
Yeah, what impresses you the most about Jayden at this point in his career?
There's a lot. I would say the poise and the decision making. For a quarterback to really have the regard for the football and the decision making process to go. So he's playing the position well, not just throwing it well. And so when do I hand it? When do I give it? How do I use the clock? I'm getting down to slide. And so those things, I see him growing and getting stronger as it goes. And so that, to me, is one of the things I've been most impressed about, is like playing the position and all that goes into that. You guys know, at the quarterback spot, using the clock, getting down to slide, use my legs for a first down. When is it a give read to go? So those would be some of the things I've been impressed by him. The work ethic, he's always captured that, and I knew that, and that doesn't get unnoticed by me.
The run defense has been maybe one of the weaker spots of the defense overall. What have you kind of thought? What do you kind of think of today? And where do you kind of see that aspect of it?
Yeah, I thought for sure, like I said, the quarterback circling us on some of the zone read plays for him. So that was one that we've got to get nailed down for sure. So those are plays. We had a good sense for what the Giants do have in that system, but certainly give credit to them too. I thought Tracy runs strong in the way that they go. So I thought from their end of things, using the legs of the QB, the running back, the whole thing of it was a big deal.
Can you step back a minute and just take a look at where you are now in the standings and some perspective as to where this team has come?
What I had told the team on, I don't know if it was Friday or Saturday, we need to demonstrate the improvement that we've made. And I hope the team from week 9 would, knock the hell out of the team from week 2, and showing that demonstrated improvement. And we've got to prove that, that we have gotten better in a lot of areas. And that improvement doesn't stop here. I said, I'm hopeful 2 months from now, we'll look back and say the team 2 months from now can really, if they had to line up against this team, would go after them. And so I think the relentless nature of improvement and going for it is a big deal. There's a lot of guys who are in that pocket to go. So I try not to think too far down the line, but to stay in this pocket of getting better and finding the things to work on to do that. And we've got a big crew of people who are ready to do that. And so the connection to the team is a really big deal. And I think that's the best part of our team is this group. They battle hard for one another, and that's a big deal.
How did you think Brandon held up today?
I thought, honestly, in the run game, there would be some plays for him, David, because of his ability and his quickness off the ball to go. So they've got really good rushers, and that's evident, between the way they can feature the guys to go. So the run game and the play pass helps on that. But I thought it was a good start by him, missing last week, and this was his first all the plays. And we were headed, this way with him, but thought that was a good start for him.
What do you think of Jeremy Chin today?
I was so impressed. I felt the man-to-man coverage. And that was one of the things that, he's been digging into to work on. And then I think there was a sweep out to my right, and I felt his speed. And so those are the things that we see with him, gaining confidence and the speed to play. And so Jeremy's been a big factor for us so far. Finding his role, the communication on the sideline. He and Quinn, I love seeing the interaction with him and the coaches. And but he's really been a factor, and Quinn as well. So from a captain standpoint, Noah Brown and Quinn and John Bates, I thought all those guys in their own way demonstrate a lot of toughness. And we knew this game, they're a tough team too. And so this would come right down to it based on our toughness, our brotherhood, against theirs. And we got a lot of respect for them.
Terry McLaurin has 2 catches, but both are touchdowns. Can you talk a little bit about how important he's been and his attitude has been, more importantly? You walk into a locker room that's already got a guy like that embedded in it. How nice has that been for a new coaching administration? It
is, and he's a real pro's pro. And we had somebody talk to the team yesterday, Bob Myers, and he talked about some people, about their role in winning, and he told a story about Andre Iguodala coming off the bench to go and whatever was best for the team. And then in that same season, he ended up being a finals MVP. But the message I thought that was so strong was, would he say the same things publicly that he would privately that was best for the team? And when it's really about winning, that's a really big deal. And that's what Terry McLaurin is, about winning. And he absolutely delivers. He strains to fight for it. I love the connection with Jayden, but I feel his energy. I feel his presence in the game, whatever it takes to go. But a number of different people stepped up today. But Terry's a pro's pro, and man, are we fortunate we got him. He's been so much fun to coach.
Take 2 more. Coach, can you talk about Austin Eckler stepping up and still doing his special teams role? How
yes.
that was today?
Yeah, that was big because we didn't know, from Brian's standpoint, that Austin was that Chris, wouldn't go until before the game. But that wasn't going to really change Austin's role on the return side of things. If they gave us a shot, we thought we'd go, and they did give us one shot at it. I think the other ones may have been touchbacks. But his ability, his quickness, the third down conversion, he's a true competitor in every sense, Austin is. And so the dual threat of the run, the receiving out of the backfield, that's a big deal. And I thought the running backs, all three of them in particular, I thought that group was really highlighted today and really featured, and they absolutely delivered.
When you look kind of big picture at the team and where you guys are going, how important of a stepping stone is it to get a win on the road in the division in an environment like this today in terms of growth for everybody?
Yeah, I don't look too far down the line, but I did say division. And what that means, so it is a little unusual to have two division games before you play any of the other ones. But make no mistake, road win in the division, that's a really big deal. And we know this team's a tough team, all the way through. And so it would take a really strong effort and toughness to go. And that's really where, my mindset was for them. Nothing past that. We don't try to look too far down the line and daydream about what could be. We just want to go battle for it and see how we can improve. And that's why I was pleased to see the week, whether maybe it's 9 team is better than the week 2 team. And that's the kind of improvement I want to see. And we're going to stay in that pocket of improvement and getting better and relentlessly chasing that. And if you think about it, it feels it's just right in the middle of it. And so I just want to stay in that pocket.
Against the Giants, and then also second divisional win. Can you just talk about kind of the importance of these types of games?
I mean, you want to win your division, you got to win those games. So division opponents kind of mean more than, just somebody that's not in our division. So that's something that we set out to go do. And, we're 2-0. We got a couple more to go.
Jayden, can you take us through that back shoulder touchdown throw to Terry?
Yeah, I mean, we had no timeouts, 11 seconds left. It was either Terry's going to catch the ball or it's going to be an incomplete pass and we kick a field goal.
I know you've thrown 1,000 balls, but when you throw a ball like that and go back and see it, I mean, could you have thrown it any better?
I could have put it out in front a little bit more, but Terry made a hell of a play.
We also talk about the throw to Noah Brown, not really double coverage, right? But there's 2 Giants in the area, so to speak,
Yeah.
put in the exact perfect spot. What gives you the confidence in yourself, but also the confidence in Noah to make that play for you?
Just the work throughout the week that I see those guys put in, the timing that we have, and just building that bond, that trust over the weeks.
The way that last week ended, what's your coaching staff doing to get you guys to turn it around, to refocus in a heartbeat?
I mean, they just preach, new week. But other than that, I mean, we got a great veteran presence in the locker room with guys that had the highest highs and the lowest of lows. So leading all those guys and just the locker room, the message I think we all kind of get is like, hey, what happened last week happened last week. We got a whole new week to go.
What did you guys learn today about the offense without Brian Robinson going?
I mean, next man up. You can see earlier in the year when Eckler was out, and J-Mac came in and did his thing. B-Rob out, and J-Mac, Eck, Chris Rodriguez came in and did their thing. That's just next man up mentality. It doesn't matter when. Our coaching staff does a tremendous job of bringing confidence into the players, no matter if you're the starter or practice squad guy. You never know when your number might get called.
Why do you think it does work so well no matter what? What works so well that way?
Schematically, and just guys just trusting each other, trusting that Tyler and Sam might make this double team to this block, or you got Alec Grady, stuff like that. So I mean, it's just the trust and the brotherhood that we have in our locker room.
The pass rush in the first time you met them, they got to you a few times. What was different? They didn't seem to get a hand on you as much this time. What was the difference from your perspective this time?
Knowing to go with the ball, getting the ball out, that helps out a lot. But tremendous job by the O-line of using their fundamentals and giving me enough time to get the ball off.
Jayden, you passed the midway point of your rookie season now. What's impressed yourself about your performance so far the most?
I mean, I don't know. I still got some ways to go. I kind of sit back and reflect after my rookie year is done.
Jayden, the 7-2 start is the best start for the franchise since 1996. Are you able to take a step back and acknowledge how important this start is for this team, or are you just in the moment?
You got to live in the moment. Hey, this could be all good. We got a game next week, but I mean, I'm just happy for the fan base that they can be something proud of in the product that we're putting out on the field.
The confidence level with you and Cliff. I mean, obviously you're a great passer, yet you threw 3 attempts into the second quarter. You guys were slamming that run game.
Yeah, sometimes it's how I got to be. You know, we adjust, but you know, when the opportunity presents itself in the pass game, you got to hit them. But you know, we did a tremendous job of getting downhill and running the ball.
There was a couple of passes in the second half, the one across to Eckler and the one to OZ, where it's a long cross and it takes a while to develop. How much easier is that throw for you when you haven't been touched all day?
I think I mean, to your point, I mean, I think it'll be kind of different. You know, obviously those guys, the defensive line, those guys, the rush guys, they get kind of frustrated that they can't get to the quarterback getting the ball out. And it helps out with our O-line, man, our tackles. Obviously, those guys that get paid a lot of money. Dexter Lawrence, Brian Burns, those guys are hell of players. So be able to not get sacked by those guys, I mean, kudos to my O-line.
How much better are you feeling after last week playing through the ribs?
I mean, I feel good right now. You know, it's week by week, but I feel good, and you know, something that progressively get better.
Dan has preached consistency from like day one with you guys. You'll figure out the rest, but got to be consistent. You guys have been able to do that pretty much every week. What do you see that you guys have been able to, effort, mental, whatever, to maintain that?
Everybody just respecting, you know, the brotherhood. Nobody's bigger than the team. No matter what you're doing out there on the field, you still get treated the same way. Everybody expects you to approach work the same way. And when you're not, then that's when we hold people accountable too.
It looked like there were some just fun conversations with the Giants side of the field after some plays. Just what was kind of going on there?
A little banter back and forth. Nothing crazy, but you know, just got respect for those guys. Obviously, throughout the draft process, you build relationships with guys over there, and you know, it's nothing but love. And obviously, he drafted one of my best friends, so it's a little bit fun to play New York twice a year.
Appreciate it, Jayden.
Thank you.
Thanks,